My name is Leah Monroe. I'm 28 years old, and this is a true story that happened to me in the fall of 2022. I was on a solo road trip across Colorado hoping to disconnect and get some peace, but when my car broke down near a quiet mountain town, I checked into a small roadside motel called the Alder Inn. It was old, empty, and strangely cheap. The manager smiled too wide when he handed me the key and said, "Just don't go near room 6. At the time, I thought it was a joke, but what I experienced in the next 2 nights will haunt me for the rest of my life. If you believe some rooms don't need guests, they make them, then subscribe, like, and share this story. This story is written and edited by Dark Lifeside Diaries. The Alder Inn was barely a building, 6 rooms, a rusting ice machine, and a dying neon sign that blinked. Vacant. The front office was a converted shed with dusty deer heads and a rotary phone that probably hadn't rung in years, but it was cold. I was stranded, and my phone had 0 signal. The manager, Mr. Daniels, looked like he hadn't blinked since the 80s, gray skin, stiff smile, and a stench of old cigarettes. He gave me key 5, said nothing else, and turned the closed sign before I could ask for Wi-Fi. Room 5 was fine, that creaked, carpet stained, but it was warm. I unpacked, showered, and was just about to sleep when I heard a thud from the room next door. Room 6. I remembered what Daniels had said, don't go near room 6. But curiosity doesn't listen to warnings. I stepped outside in my hoodie and walked past the single outdoor light flickering above my door. Room 6's windows were covered with thick black curtains on the inside that struck me as odd. I leaned close and heard a sound no motel room should ever make: breathing, slow, heavy, deep, but not human, not regular. It was like a person pretending to breathe badly, mechanical, labored, hungry. I knocked once, everything went silent. Then from inside, "You're early." First, my name wasn't on the register. I hadn't made a reservation. There was no way anyone could have expected me. Ran back to my room, locked the door, and tried to sleep with the TV on static just to block the sound of my heartbeat. Next morning, Daniels was gone. No sign of him, not even the scent of his cigarettes, but room 6's door was open just a crack. It hadn't been the night before. I inched closer inside. The room was pitch black, no furniture, no bed, just a single mirror nailed to the far wall, and on it written in reverse letters, "Via checkout before midnight." I stepped back fast. The door slammed shut behind me, though I hadn't even entered in. From inside, a whisper. "One night left." I tried to leave. My car wouldn't start, not even a click. No tow trucks came, no one answered my calls. I checked Google Maps. The Alder Inn wasn't listed. The GPS only said unnamed road. That night, the thudding returned louder. This time, my walls shook. The mirror in the bathroom cracked, and my TV turned on by itself. Black and white footage of someone standing in room 6. It was me, wearing the same clothes, the same hoodie, but with no face, just a smooth surface, skin stretched where eyes and mouth should bait. Pointed at the screen and whispered, "Check in, check out, check in, check out." But some guests stay. I ripped the plug from the wall. No use. The footage kept playing. My double began to smile or stretch. It peeled back its mouth like ripping tape from skin inside. Was not teeth, just an endless void, black, moving, and it began crawling out of the screen. I ran. Outside, the manager's office was empty, but the logbook was open. Just one name repeated across decades of yellow pages: Leah Monroe, room 6, all the same handwriting, all me, but I had never been here before. I looked in the mirror behind the desk, and for a split second my reflection smiled, but I didn't. Moment, I saw my name written over and over again in that motel logbook. Something inside me cracked. Not in a scream, not in panic, just a stillness, like part of me had already known. This was coming. Page after page across decades. My name, Leah Monroe, was listed under room 6, rooms dated before I was even born, and all written in the same thin, jagged uppercase letters, like carved into the page instead of inked. As I stood in the motel office holding the guest book, the lights flickered violently, then shut off entirely. Silence, no hum, no wind, no sound at all, until the bell above the office door rang, not from someone entering, from someone leaving. I turned and saw myself standing in the doorway. Same face, same clothes, but something was off. Her eyes weren't blinking, her chest wasn't moving. She was still like a paused video. Then she opened her mouth too wide and whispered, "You stayed too long." Suddenly the walls of the office twisted. The wallpaper curled back like old skin. The desk melted into the floor. The floor vanished altogether. I was falling, but not downward. I was falling into room 6. I landed with a thud in complete darkness. No windows, no light, just cold floor and a mirror directly across from me. My reflection blinked, then smiled before I even moved. The mirror fogged. A message appeared in breath-written letters. "Welcome back," I screamed. I threw the nearest object at the glass. It didn't break instead. It absorbed the impact like liquid in from inside it, arms pressed up against the surface, hundreds of them. Palms, fingers, distorted faces behind the reflection, all reaching out, all watching, and one of them had my face. I tried to escape the door too. Room 6 wouldn't open, the handle twisted like soft clay. I banged on the walls. I screamed until my throat burned. Then the radio in the corner clicked on old jazz music, scratchy, then a voice calm and polite. Room service for Miss Monroe one night. Complimentary stay as long as you'd like, forever if needed. The voice laughed, but it echoed wrong from inside my chest. I backed away and tripped over a suitcase, not mine. It was old faded leather with brass corners. I opened it and inside were clothes. Dozens of old dresses, coach shoes, none modern, all tagged with faded labels that read Leah Monroe. Some had dates: 1955, 1978, 1993, 2006, 2080. Each outfit was mine, each one I had never worn, or had I? I turned and saw the mirror again. It wasn't a mirror anymore. It was a door. The surface rippled from it. A woman stepped out, another Leah, hair pinned in a 1960s style, eyes dead. She held her hand out. You're the newest. The rest of us are already home. I backed into the wall, trying not to scream, but there was nowhere left to go behind me. The wall pulsed like it was breathing. Room 6 didn't have a back wall. It had a mouth, and it opened. The other Leahs emerged from every corner, from the radio static, from the wardrobe, from beneath the bed. Silent, smiling and watching. The mirror door whispered, "You never left. You've always been here. Room 6 doesn't check out, it checks in." I dropped to the floor, closed my eyes, begged, prayed. I said my name over and over. My name is Leah Monroe. I don't belong here. I don't belong. A voice interrupted. Exactly, that's why we chose you. Then silence again, only this time I wasn't alone in my skin. Something else was breathing with me, breathing through me. Don't remember leaving the room, but I woke up the next morning. In room 5, the sun was shining, birds chirping, everything normal, except when I went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. The reflection smiled again before I did, and behind me on the mirror's surface, faintly fogged, "See you tonight, Leah. Room 6 is never empty." It's been 3 weeks since I left the Alder Inn, or at least that's what I told myself every night before bed. The truth is, even though I drove away from that cursed motel, even though I crossed state lines and deleted the GPS pin, Room 6 didn't stay behind. It came with me first. I ignored the signs, brushed them off as trauma responses, sleep deprivation, the kind of weird energy that lingers after horror. I tried resuming my life, got back to work, reconnected with friends, even booked a therapy session, but room 6 had its own check-in policy: permanent stay only. The first sign was the mirror in my bedroom. One night after brushing my teeth, I looked up and my reflection blinked after me, a fraction of a second too late. My heart stopped. I stared for a full minute, then it smiled. I didn't. The next day, my apartment grew cold. Not regular winter cold, Alder Inn cold. The kind that sinks into your teeth and makes your bones creak when you move. My thermostat was set to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. I checked it twice. The air coming from the vents was warm, but the mirrors in my house were frosted from the inside. I covered them, every single one, bed sheets, newspapers, duct tape. I didn't want to see that face again, that version of me that blinked too late and smiled too wide. But at night, I heard it not through the vents, from inside the mirror, scratching like nails on glass. Then whispers, "Room service one more night. You left too early, Leah." I reached out to Nancy Holloway, the woman who'd warned me before, but her phone number was disconnected. Her Facebook page was gone. Her trailer vanished from satellite view. It was like she'd never existed, or like room 6 finally pulled her back in. He started researching similar disappearances. Women named Leah, women who had vanished near Colorado mountain towns. I found 3, all listed as last seen alone, all between 1960 and now, none ever found. Guess what they all had in common? They were last seen staying at Alder Motel 1. Letter off, one missing thread, always different spellings, but the same room number. Then came the third sign. My phone camera started acting up. I de-opened the selfie cam, and for a second, just a second, I'd see a hotel room behind me instead of my bedroom. Outdated wallpaper, a rotary phone, and a key on the table that read room 6. I stopped using the camera. It didn't help. My phone started ringing in the middle of the night. No number, just a blank screen. When I picked up, a static-filled voice whispered, "We miss you, Leah. Your checkout was premature." I screamed, hung up. But the calls continued every night, 3:06 and not 3 o'clock. Not 3:05, room 6. I finally broke, packed everything I couldn't drove 3 states away to stay with my cousin in Arizona. No mirrors, no. Memories, no motel first night, there was quiet second night too, then on the third night. I woke up to find a hotel key on my nightstand room 6, same brass design, same chipped edges. I ran to the bathroom forgetting we'd removed the mirror, but something. Was there any way, faint outline on the wall, an impression of me standing, smiling arms? Wide like I was welcoming myself back now. I don't sleep. I can't. Because every time I close my eyes, I dream of the same hallway, flickering lights, spieling wallpaper 6. Doors in the last one always slightly open, room 6, waiting, breathing, and I can hear them. All the other Leahs, you left the room, but the room never left you. I moved again, new town, new name on the mailbox, new locks on the door, still didn't matter, because 2 nights after settling in, I walked into my bedroom after brushing my teeth, and there it was, a full-length mirror standing tall in the corner. I never bought one, I never moved one, and I sure as hell didn't place it at the exact same angle as the mirror in room 6. I backed out, slowly grabbed my phone to take a picture to prove I wasn't losing my mind. The photo showed only an empty wall, but when I turned back, the mirror was still there, and inside it I wasn't alone, my reflection was smiling again, that same wide grin, that same delayed blink, and this time behind her stood room 6, wallpaper, curling door slightly open. She lifted a hand, mine but not mine, and pointed at me. Ran out of the apartment, into my car, didn't even lock the door behind me, drove until the gaslight came on, checked into a chain motel hours away, asked for the highest floor, corner room, no mirrors. Receptionist smiled strangely and handed me the key, room 306. I didn't realize it then, 306. Room 6, it follows. In pieces that night, I stayed awake, lights on, curtains open. I put my phone away. I didn't look in the bathroom, but around midnight there was a knock on the door, not loud, just a gentle, slow tap. I asked, "Who is it?" A girl's voice whispered, "It's me, Leah." I froze because it sounded like May. Looked through the peephole. There was no one there, but when I stepped back, the door unlocked itself and opened 2 inches, just like room 6. Hottie didn't sleep that night, and when the sun finally rose, I packed and went downstairs. The receptionist had no record of me staying there. No Leah Monroe, no room 306 on file. I showed her my key. She turned pale. "This isn't ours," she whispered. "That's from Alder Inn." It didn't matter where. I went to room 6, kept finding me, sometimes in reflections, sometimes in dreams, sometimes in the voices of strangers. One night, I was walking down the street and passed a homeless woman. She looked up right into my eyes and said, "You're dripping girl frost in your veins now." I started seeing the other Leahs more often in windows, on buses, on my own TV screen, just standing watching, never blinking. Then the worst happened. I woke up one morning and my phone had a video saved to ID, never recorded. It was 6 seconds long, timestamp, 3:06 a.m. The footage? Me standing in front of a mirror, but the reflection wasn't mesh. Moved first, she smiled, and then whispered into the camera, "You're in now, there's no checkout." That night I gave up. I stopped running. I went home, pulled the sheets off the mirror, sat down in front of it, and said, "Fine, take me." Nothing happened, not at first, but slowly the glass began to soften. It rippled, and she stepped out, the Leah from the mirror, the original, the first guest. She looked tired, empty, cold, and then she stepped back, inviting me in. Behind her stood all the others. "There's no escape," they said together, "only rotation. It's your turn now." I stepped forward, touched the mirror, and it swallowed me. Now I'm standing here in room 6, just like the rest of them, waiting, smiling, because the motel still exists somewhere out there, moving, reappearing, whispering to the next Leah, and maybe next time it'll knock on your door at 3:06 a.m. and when you open it, don't be surprised if I'm standing there smiling. Thanks for reading until the very last reflection. If this story left you cold and wondering what's hiding in your mirror, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more original horror tales. This story is written and edited by Dark Life Side Diaries.